You are listening to episode 114 of the Peaceful Mind Podcast. Welcome to the Peaceful Mind Podcast, a place for creating the peace of mind you need to be the best mom you are created by God to be. If you want to bring more balance, more joy, and more peace to your motherhood, this is the place for you. I'm your host, certified life coach and Catholic mom, Danielle Tienel. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Thanks for joining me. I believe right now my neighbors who are remodeling and doing some landscape work, I believe that the workers are on their lunch break right now. So hopefully I can record this podcast and get it out there before any of the very noisy trucks and things going on show up again. And if so, that's okay too. Just kind of like ignore that, because if it's not perfect, that's all right. We are aiming for B- work around here on the Peaceful Mind Podcast, because we know that B- is the coaching tool that helps us get things done. And I want to get this topic out to you all today. I'm so excited to share it with you. If you're listening to this in mid-October when it's released, it's actually my birthday week. That's right. And I always kind of I know a lot of people wait till the new year, but my birthday is a time when I reset my goals for the year. When I'm planning on what my birthday wish will be, it kind of projects, right, how I want the next year to be, and it has me thinking and committing to my goals again. So maybe also, if you are so inclined, as a little side note here, for a little birthday gift for me, this is what I would love to ask any of my listeners out there. If you would go and rate and review this podcast, I would so appreciate it. So let me thank you in advance to anyone who goes ahead and hit that 5-star button and take a minute or two to help others learn what you've learned by listening to the Peaceful Mind Podcast. Okay, we're going to dive in now. We are going to learn the number one thing to guarantee any of your goals. And as I was putting together what I wanted to speak to you all about today, which happens to be exactly what I shared with a large group, I think it was about 1,600 humans this summer when I was working at a conference. This is the talk that I shared. I double teamed this with another coach, and it was really impactful. And I thought I have to do this on my podcast and let my listeners know. But as I was revisiting my notes and sort of putting it together from what I wanted you all to take away, I couldn't help but think about my group and the group coaching program I have, and all of the special mamas in there who are achieving their goals because they came into the program wanting to make progress and hit their goals. And through that, and what you're going to learn here, they are doing it. They are showing up. And I just want to give them a shout out. We start our calls, and there are just so many wins that have been happening lately, so many goals achieved, so many aha moments, so many things that are happening in their exterior life now that they were hoping was possible, but they needed to take the step that I'm going to teach you today in order to make and guarantee that these goals were going to come true. So this is what, when we talk about the subject of goals, right? It's just kind of a generic term, but it is something that our brain totally understands. We see that it's kind of like a starting line and a finish line, and then you see yourself somewhere in between on your way to crossing the finish line, to hitting your goals. But I want you to know that the main objective of today is to have you take away this key this key takeaway, this very useful piece of information that you will be able to hold in your heart for a lifetime, that it will unlock and guarantee that you always, and I mean 100% of the time, hit your goals. And I'm just going to tell you right off the bat what that number one thing is. Everyone, the number one thing to guarantee that you hit your goals is commitment. Now, commitment is a feeling, okay? And when I talk about in other episodes on this podcast, we all know that it is our thoughts that create our feelings. So in order to generate the feeling of commitment for yourself, you don't need anything outside of you, anything else in the world, any circumstance, any other person to generate this commitment. It goes on the F line of the model if we're talking about the number one tool that I use for awareness of what's going on inside our mind and our brain. And if you can generate commitment towards your goal, then that will guarantee you hit. And this is why. Because let's look at the definition of commitment. The definition is it's a promise or agreement to do something no matter what. So I want you to know that's the absolute key to this. A promise or an agreement to do something no matter what. It's that no matter what part that generates commitment. So it means no matter what. That also means no quitting. It means no giving up. And it means you'll have to continually figure out and experiment and try new things and fail and pivot and try again until your goal is reached. And if you do that, that means if you're doing it no matter what and not giving up and not quitting and trying new things, that means you will fit into that definition that you are agreeing to do something no matter what. So if you are generating the feeling of commitment towards your goals, this is the key to guarantee that you cross that finish line. And one of the reasons, the big reasons, right, that this feeling that we want to generate is because our feelings drive every single action that we take. And in order to get and hit our goals, everyone, we are going to have to be doing things. We are going to have to be taking action. We're going to want to be making progress. So here's a few truths that I just want to talk to you about. I want to let you know that you can create any goal you want. Anything. And notice that the key to that is what you want. Like you have to truly want it. If I'm going to refer back to the model again, that is our circumstance, thoughts, feelings, actions, and results, right? Those 5 categories that make up the model, one of the number one coaching tools I use. We always say you can put anything in the result line. And so the result line here is a goal you want to achieve. So if you can put anything in the result line, you just have to work backwards to figure out what you're going to try, what you're going to do, what actions you're going to take to hit that. But if you have the feeling line of commitment that's driving those actions, that is how we know you will guarantee that that result is inevitable, that goal is inevitable. And the reason why people don't create their results, it's because they want it. Only wanting is actually not enough. We want to be committed. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that wanting part, okay? But really, the key to truly getting what you want is truly committing to it. Okay, since we talked about what commitment is, I think it really helps to drive home the definition is when we talk a little bit about what commitment is not, okay? Commitment is not, like I just mentioned, it's not just wanting a goal. Commitment is not dreaming about a goal. Commitment is not desiring to reach a goal. Commitment isn't even being inspired to go after a goal. And lastly, as an example, commitment is not being motivated to reach a goal. Now, don't get me wrong. I love wanting something, dreaming about something, desiring, feeling inspired, and motivation. Those are all amazing feelings. I want you to create those in your life, and I want you to feel them. They will give you great results. But I also want you to see that those beautiful feelings are also just not enough to guarantee you hit your goals. Only commitment is that guarantee that you will hit your goals. So I mentioned to you earlier that I talked about this exact topic with another coach friend of mine. And when we presented it, she gave a beautiful example that I'm going to use here. And it was about her getting real about herself in a particular example of where she just realized she was wanting something, but she wasn't committing to it. And I wanted to present to you that there are 3 steps that we can take that will help us understand this commitment, right? In order to go forward to hit these goals of ours. And this easy 3 steps is this. It's number 1, we must take inventory of our life. And then number 2, we need to get honest with ourselves about what it is that we are even able to concentrate our brain, mentality, our mental and emotional energy about committing to, right? We have to get honest with ourselves that where we are currently in our life, in our certain stage of motherhood, right? We're all in different places. Some of us have many kids. Some of us are at the newborn stage. Some of us are empty nester, and there's some of us a little bit in between. But we want to get honest on what we actually can commit to. And we do that after we take inventory. And then the third step is that we want to make this commitment that I've been talking to you about. And we've got to honor that decision to commit, which means, and honoring means, we need to show up for ourselves. We need to actually follow through on this commitment with the actions. But I brought up the example of how my colleague noticed that she was wanting a goal and she thought she was committed to it, but really she was just in that wanting stage. So I'm going to use this example to show you how right now you may be living in this way, and this, maybe you're desiring and trying to get inspired to do a goal, and you're really kind of dreaming about your goal. And then there is what it takes to take inventory, get honest with yourself, and make that commitment. So we're going to walk through each of these 3 steps. And then I'm also going to utilize the example of my colleague. And just to tell you now, her goal was to lose 20 pounds. And again, she really wanted to lose 20 pounds, but she realized she wasn't committed to it. So let's use this example and walk through those 3 steps that I gave you to guarantee your goals. Okay. So the step number 1, and that is to take inventory. To achieve a goal, we first need to even know what it is. We need to take inventory of what it is we even want in our life, right? So if you're out walking right now or you're driving in your car, don't worry about it. But if you can, if you're listening to this like in your home or in your office or kind of like have a moment, I want you at some point, whether it be now or later, get out your notebooks and I want you to answer this question. What do I want? Okay. I want you to take a few minutes and list as many things as you can come up with, but I want you to have at least 5. Maybe some examples are you want to start a business. Maybe you want to save $5,000. Maybe you want to lose 10 pounds. Just take inventory. This is the stage where you want to ask yourself what you want. You do a little bit of dreaming, a little bit of desiring. That's all fine at this stage. Okay. And then after you've done that, I want you to pick one. Just pick one. I know your brain will tell you want all of them, but again, we want our brain to focus on something specific. It works so much better if it's not thinking and working on 500 goals, right? We want to make it, I suggest 1, but I know if anything, if all else fails, maybe 3. Because I can kind of see all of the thought bubbles for my listeners going like, oh, that's the hard part because I have so many. But just follow these steps with 1, maybe even in your head. If you can't write them down right now, just pick one thing that you want right now and then walk through them yourself when you hear me talking about. Okay, now that you've done that and we've taken inventory and you've chosen your first thing, we move to step 2. And step 2 is where we get honest with ourselves. There might be another time in your life to take on a certain goal, or you just want to figure out if you are honestly open to and ready to commit to the goal. And this is where, again, I'm going to come back to the example of wanting to lose 20 pounds and realizing when she got honest with herself that she was actually just still in wanting to do it, but she wasn't following up with the actions of committing to it. So she would have things in her mind, right? She would have these obstacles that come up and she would tell herself she doesn't know where to start. She would also say that nothing has worked before and there was no time to work out. She didn't finish what she, started or what she bought to actually help her along to lose 20 pounds. And she was telling herself she was too tired to work out and that the weight wasn't dropping. But it wasn't till she stopped and did the first step, took inventory about what was really going on, and then asked herself, honestly, am I committed to this? She saw and just could be under herself that she was moving forward with these thoughts and way of thinking about it that were not getting her any results, were not getting her to the finish line. So at this point, when you realize those obstacles that are holding you back, which are mostly what's coming from what you're deciding to think about our goals, then you can put strategies in place. And then you can help yourself move from when you're getting honest with yourself, help yourself move into commitment more. And so instead of thinking she didn't know where to start, right, she got coaching on the story that she was saying, and then she decided to make one small decision so that she could get into action to lose the weight. Instead of believing that nothing has worked, right, she found something in the past that did work for her. And she started asking herself, okay, well, when it did work, what was I thinking back then? And recommitted to thinking and believing that now. When she thought she had no time to work out, even though she was desiring to lose 20 pounds, she moved into commitment and she started to schedule it into her calendar and at least worked out 3 times a week for 30 minutes. She committed to that. And then when she didn't finish what she bought, right, she would notice that she would then only buy easy things, right? She would research some ideas for just a specific amount of time, and she would actually devise a plan, and then she committed to that plan and carried it out. And really, this story that her weight doesn't drop, she saw that as her biggest obstacle, and then she had the strategy to step in to commitment and to remind herself, put things in place to remind herself on the way that it was working. Even if she wasn't actually seeing tangible results, she knows that this effort that she was putting through her commitment, that she would figure it out eventually. If she kept at it, didn't give up no matter what. So that was just a little demonstration about getting honest with yourself in step 2, that are you really just kind of wanting these goals for yourself, or are you in the number one thing that will guarantee you hitting those goals, which is commitment? So then that brings us to step 3. Step 3 is that we have to now honor this commitment. This is the time to show up for yourself. And I love that if you are doing this, we only need to do 2 things. When we are committed and we are following out our commitment and we are trying things and making progress and in doing little habits that will progress us towards our goal, you will want to honor yourself by having regular check-ins so that you can reevaluate your level of commitment, right? Because commitment is what you need to guarantee the goal. So I love to use this question. It's kind of like a scale. You think about, based on your assessment of your current actions and inactions, what is your scale level of commitment? Where on a scale of 1 to 10, 0 is not committed and 10 is totally committed. So this is a really great place to honor your commitment to guarantee you hit your goals, and that is to have regular check-ins to reevaluate. If you see that you're like at a 5 and 10 is being totally committed, which you know is going to guarantee your goals, that's an excellent time to just reevaluate. Maybe you committed to something a few months ago, but there's a new life circumstance that's come in that has you not committed as much, has you down to a 5 on the scale. But here's the great thing. You can make a decision right there that you no longer want to be committed to this particular goal and maybe reevaluate and get another one. Or by stopping and reevaluating and finding you're on the 5, you can now recommit to moving towards a 10 if this is something you really want to achieve. And I just also, again, want you to know that celebrating the wins that you have along the way is so critical. My mamas just don't do this enough. And so you may fall into this same place. Are you looking regularly and seeing where you are doing an amazing, awesome job? Are you giving yourself attagirls and accolades and really just saying you're doing awesome? If not, please let this be a reminder to look around your life and see the things you are completing, that you are doing for your families, hopefully a lot for yourself. So these are the 3 steps. We want to take inventory of the goals. We want to get honest with ourselves. If we are open and willing at this point of our lives to commit to our goals. And then if so, step 3, I want you to make and honor the decision to commit, because commitment is the number one thing that will guarantee that you hit your goals. I hope you found this information useful and serving to your life right now. And even if it isn't your birthday week like it is mine, it's always a good time to reevaluate what it is that you want to create in your future. And if you want help with determining what those goals are, the plan to achieve it, having the support and accountability that will have you achieving them, it will take the same thing that my beautiful clients have to have in order to get the help and coaching they need, and that is a commitment. Right now, I have open enrollment for my next group. If you are wanting to commit to guaranteeing you hit your goals, I can think of no better commitment than coming to this mom's group, small group life coaching program where you will make progress and be well on your way along with other like-minded moms who are achieving their goals every single week. If you have any questions about that, there is more information in the show notes. And please reach out. Let me know what goals you're committed to. I would love to hear and know I am in your corner always. Much love and peace to you all, and I will talk to you again next week. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Peaceful Mind Podcast. Are you ready to take everything I teach you here and put it to work for your own life? To really learn how to have peace of mind no matter what is happening around you? If so, I'd love to have you as a client. As your coach, this is where you'll get personal and focused time on your own mind using life coaching tools, concepts, and proven life-transforming wisdom, all through a faith-filled lens. To learn more about how we can work together, come on over to DanielleTienel.com. There, you'll see how to sign up for a free coaching consult and learn how to get started. Until next time, peace be with you always.